Were some of those early bouts tough, or was it tougher to referee then? Like, is it something that gets easier over time? What?
Yeah, I would always I compare it to, and I don't know if it's a good comparison, but it would be like being a brain surgeon. Like, you're not going to be as good as you're going to be 10 years, but no one could die.
Yeah,
Pretty right? Pretty simple, right? And so you learn lots and lots of little things. And
so you're saying, you're not going to be as good as you're going to be later, but as long as you don't let somebody die.
yeah, you gotta, stop the fight when it's supposed to be stopped, and then the rules, it all comes in as you go.
Take me on like an early experience that was kind of like a lot for a referee.
Yeah. So for me, my first couple, I remember my first or second time reffing, the fight was really even. It's amateurs and really even, and then the kid was losing pretty bad, and I was like, wow, this kid's losing pretty bad. This fight should be stopped. And I was like, oh no, that's me, and and I stopped it, and then kind of from there, you're like, yeah, you're the one in there, because you're up close, and you have to adapt into a referee. At first, I came out from fighting, so my mentality was like a fighter. Like, as a fighter, I didn't always agree with the referee.
It's a good point, because as a fighter, you have
you're just doing your thing, and especially at the high level, like, this is it's their health, their lives, their livelihood, and all the dedication in the world, that it takes. So, they're on a different journey that day than I am, for sure.
And are there fighters that will tell you, they'll come up to you before a bout and say, like, this is like, do not do this or do this?
Yeah, you'll get, do not. And then I just let them talk, and then I, do my, whatever my criteria is. I don't change it.
You can't?
No, you can't. You don't change it.
Is there one fighter that's like, do not for anything? Like, is there somebody that's just like, let me go to the end of the road every time? Like, somebody that stands out? Because it's kind of...
No, there's been, not to name any, but a lot of times when they say don't stop this, you end up stopping it. It's weird. Or they'll tap or something. They'll be like, wow, and especially when they say, oh, I'm willing to die or whatever. But some guys are just quiet and just, that they're there to get the job done. And, and as far as, it's like, as I said, a criteria, let's say you've watched a lot of fights, and when I'm reffing, I'll say, you have to move. And if they fit that criteria, if they're defending and they can move, it's a fight. My main thing, as I said, this, they're putting their health on the line. My main thing is to have them fairly fight, and, health, like them leaving and being able to fight again or whatever they want to do again, right? Be a family person. There's a lot, besides me being a parent myself, it's the most important thing I'll ever do. It's very important. And, on the outside, it's just a fight, but a lot can happen, so
you're kind of like a safeguard.
Yeah. And, and it's like you're in there, and as I said, emotions from everywhere, right? Fighters, corners, people who are there to watch the fight, from, you get a different vibe from the people in the front row, from the people in the back row, right? So it's a very emotional. So really, I try to keep my emotions aside and just have the set thing of what I do each time. And, everyone makes mistakes. That doesn't make them acceptable either. Everyone makes, and they do, and I do. But, make a mistake, admit it, and learn from it, and move on.
Is there a fight that you've had to you were like, yeah, maybe that was a little early, or that was, or I didn't read it correctly, or?
I try not to read it totally into the early ones. I don't have many where I'm like, oh, that was late. I'm lucky that I don't really have one where I'm like, wow, that's not what I'm here to do. So that I'm lucky, but to know, as you get more experience, Like you'll know when even like sometimes someone will be like, I think that was a little early, and you'll know right in your head it wasn't a little early, like because you're there right next to him. So
Right.
you hear all the sounds.
That's a good
And
point,
everything
actually.
else.
Yeah, you're right there. I mean, you're right there. You're the closest person to it. You can feel a different energy than we can.
Yes, and even cameras I've done. Because I look at my work when I'm done with it, and I've watched 5 different angles, and like usually the only angle, like there's one angle that I'm like, oh, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
And the other angles are kind of maybe a little bit, and then there's one, like closest to where my eyes are and they are, and where you're like, oh, that's what I saw.
You ever go back and like with your lady make love to a fight or watch one or something like that? Like that, you know what I'm saying? Watch your work type of thing? Like a thing, people will like watch their
like watch it, just to say, wow, I did great.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't look at the ones I think I did good.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Is it tougher to referee some of the bigger fighters? Is it because of their body shape? Like when they're like, is there a weight class that's a little bit tougher or different that you have to adjust how you do or where you place yourself?
I don't know about tougher or different. Like the smaller guys are faster, the bigger guys are stronger, right? And it's just right physics, I guess. So you just make sure you're fast enough for the faster guys, and you're in the right position for the bigger guys. I don't like have a preference. I can ref whatever. You want to be in the right position, and they'll listen to your commands, and because people do ask like, oh, how would you stop them? And the same way you'd stop, a smaller guy, or so.
And they always all honor the referee for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
Because that's part of the code of.
Yeah, you give respect, you get respect, right? So
Yeah, the level of respect that's in that ring is pretty amazing too, I feel like.
So yeah, I think people would be surprised, definitely, how like, respectful fighters are to me. I can't really speak for anyone, but to me, and obviously you're not gonna always agree, but for the most part, for the very, very most part, they're very respectful.
Have you ever been at a fight where someone passed away in the ring, or there was something that tragic that happened?
No.
Wow. That's amazing, then.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
It's a lot of fights. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you've refereed thousands of fights.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely a lot of them. Yeah.
Is there anything different about refereeing a male fight to a female fight?
No. I've been lucky to get some of the best female fights ever.
Yeah.
And there's really no difference. It's pretty amazing the level that they've grown so quickly.
Do you ever think that a fighter threw a fight or had given up but kept fighting? What is that kind of energy like? How do you manage something like that? And how do you decide if it's just you interjecting some of your own thoughts into what's going on? Can you take me on even just some journeys about some of that?
So like, what, like if a guy is giving up or?
Yeah, like do you ever think a guy doesn't want to be in there but he's staying in there? Like do you ever get some of that energy?
It's kind of the sport where if you don't want to be in there, most likely you're not going to be for very long, right? So like I have seen guys that it's not going very well and you can tell they definitely want to be there, right? That's a little easier to see, I think, definitely. But
yeah, I guess it's a good point, huh?
Yeah. Usually if you don't want to be there, at some point you're not going to be there pretty quick. And you can see, guys get surprised or, overwhelmed. And for that moment, live to fight another day and whatever. But you usually, like if a guy, you're stopping them. They're not stopping themselves for the most part.
Have you ever had a guy stop himself or their corner stop him? What's some of that
I have like amateur stuff. Like I had a kid walk out of the cage and leave the other day.
One for him. Good choice.
Yeah. Wasn't for him. And it was amateur, so like good decision.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Go get a smoothie, homie.
See you later. I was like, no, all right. I waved it off, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, once you leave, it's over.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. He comes back in. His mom's like walking back in with him or something, or his buddies.
One time, it was my buddy, and he knocked this guy out, and somehow his mom got in, and you thought she was going to kneel down and to tend to her son. But the doctors were there. He was being taken care of. She stepped over and gave him the finger. Yeah. Gave my buddy the finger. It was crazy. I remember it was many years ago, but I remember because AC/DC Thunderstruck was being played, and the mom's giving the kid the finger. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, that's epic, dude.
Yeah.